we're going to rehash a little of what you talked about with Logan on Ringer NBA show, because I think it's an important conversation. The concept of a distraction, because I don't think the general fan or anybody who's worked in any sort of like a real team concept understands what it's like when you have somebody, especially somebody who's in a key role, who is an ongoing distraction. Day after day, you don't know what's going to happen. I knew this from, obviously, I'm pretty connected with the Boston team. And that second Kyrie year, which was, I think, way worse than people realized. And one of the reasons they were, not shedding any tears when he left was it was distraction stuff. And it was a roller coaster ride. And it was not knowing, oh, this person's super happy today. Oh, they're not happy today. Oh, this happened. Oh, he just said this after the press conference. Oh, we got to deal with this. And when it's a team and you're together for 6 to 9 months, depending on how the season goes, and you're on that roller coaster ride, what happens to the psyche of the team as a whole?
You fry out eventually, is what happens. Like your ability to compartmentalize. Playing a professional sport, you have to be great at compartmentalizing and keeping the distractions and the outside world and what's going on outside of the practice facility in the arena or the field or the court. You have to be able to separate those. You have to be able to just come in, do your job, focus on the task at hand to the best of your ability. You'll see people's personal lives creep in to their area of expertise all the time. And a guy will have like off weeks, off nights. I mean, to some degree, it might be happening with Tom Brady right now, right? Like it happens. But to the best of your ability, you're trying to compartmentalize. When you have something on your team that's just a distraction all the time and it's unpredictable and you're wasting energy worrying about what your interaction is going to be with them on a daily basis, it just starts to wear on you. And I akin it to an odometer on a car. Like we all got a certain amount of mileage, and it would be like emotional bandwidth, shit that we can deal with before we reach the fry out point, right? And some of that's for my home life, some of that's for my work life, and within my work life, I've got that parsed out to be able to deal with. Man, I got to deal with X, Y, and Z today, and I allot a certain amount of that bandwidth to each thing. Well, now here's this distraction all the time, sucking 25% of what I had allocated in other places out. And so eventually I'm going to fry out and it's going to put me on edge. And then, again, that's the domino. The first person to run out of bandwidth that gets on edge and snippy and sarcastic and confrontational, he's the first domino. And then the next person that he crosses paths with, that he doesn't like have the patience with or the ability to calmly speak to and pacify a situation, and he's snarky and he snips and he MFs, well, then he's the second domino. And then now we're just rolling, right? So this whole fucking team now is on edge and snarky and snippy. And it happened because we've got this distraction and this drain on our emotional bandwidth as a team. And it's just sucking it from the pool every day until we're dry.
Well, so you played with Marion and Stoudemire in Phoenix, who weren't even 20% of the Kyrie stuff, but would both get moody from time to time, right? And we've talked about this on previous pods. Marion would have his moments where somebody said in his ear, like, this guy's making more money than you, or this guy made the All-NBA over you. And he would come out and he would occasionally have, and I remember Nash telling me about it in the moment, but like he would have the random games where it's like, why is Shawn Marion shooting 20 times tonight? And you just kind of wrote it out and it got out of his system and then it was fine. And I think Amari was the same way, right? A little bit of a complicated guy, but a beloved teammate. But every once in a while would maybe get off the highway for an exit and then come back on. The Kyrie stuff's different. But so there's really two types of distractions. Those guys were not distractions.
No, those guys are NBA players.
Right.
That's what an NBA player is, right? We all are, alpha, hyper competitive people. And there are going to be times where, we feel like maybe we're overlooked or we want a little bit more recognition or what have you. It's penciled in. That's baked into the pie. What you're talking about is a consistent distraction. Those are blips on the radar, man. They pop up. You deal with them as a team. Everyone understands that we all have our unique personalities. I was like that, Bill. Like I could get emotional. Like I might want to fight somebody. I might be in a bad mood for 3 days, but people knew I'd be right back because, it's just what I did, man. Like, give him a little space. He'll come back. We're going to be fine. And then that doesn't happen for months and months and months. But when it's consistent, right? And to your point, when you're going into on a daily basis and you don't know what type of person you're going to get and what interaction you're going to have with them, I mean, genuinely don't know. Not the random one-off like, oh, Bill's having a bad day, or like, yo, Raj woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Just let him chill today, man. He'll be back tomorrow. Those are family problems. But the real ones where you're like, yo, man, how you think he's going to be today? Is he good? And that's a real thing sometimes, and that's a consistent drain. It's a consistent drain of energy.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit moody from time to time. Maybe my family would say that, or they'd be like, oh, he's in one of his funks. The Patriots lost. But when you're one of the two best guys on a team and you have that day-to-day impact on top of one piece that you didn't mention, what happens when these guys go home? What happens when they're with their buddies? What's the first thing their buddies are asking? Like, oh, yo, man, what's up with Kyrie?
All day.
And then and Kyrie has now become part of your life and you're not even, it's like, dude, I don't know, Kyrie's Kyrie. And you have to start saying the guy's name twice to try to justify it.
Right.
Hey, Kyrie's Kyrie. And everybody in your life's asked, that's when you know it's gone sideways. So the Nets have two of those guys because Simmons is the other one. It's like, what's up with Simmons? That, like, whoever, let's pick, I don't know, Seth Curry or Patty Mills. They're going to dinner. They're at dinner with some friends. Like, what is up with Ben Simmons? And they're just, it's like they're in a press conference answering the same questions. Ben's a good guy. No, we think. And I think that weight is part of it too.
Huge part of it. And it's, when you're dealing with people as polarizing as Kyrie and Ben Simmons was last year, just, depending on what market you were in, that's not just your friends and your family, brother. That's walking the street. That's
what's up with Kyrie?
What? All day. That's in a grocery store, man. That's out having a glass of wine from the waiter or the bartender. That is, it's incessant. It doesn't stop. And then, one of the biggest things for NBA players is you get up to the mic because you've had a great game. This is your moment at the mic. They're rare for a player like me. And I'm answering questions about Kyrie and anti-Semitism. Like, I used Joe Harris the other day only because no other name came to mind, but I'm minding my business, just hanging out, man, having a good time, enjoying my weekend, just trying to hoop. And here I go at the press conference that I've earned the right to be at, and my first question posed is about one of these poop butts. You know what I mean? Well, I don't want to do that.
I don't know what Kyrie's endgame is, and I'm not sure if there is one. But I do know the Nets have tried to trade him for the last few weeks, and I think he probably knows. I don't even think I'm reporting that. I think it's pretty well known around the league. There's no takers. He's hit the point where it's weird. Some guys hit this point, right? Like Stephon Marbury was all of a sudden out of the league in 2008. And the Celtics signed him for the stretch run in 2009 because they'd had some injuries. They rolled the dice with him. But you can go from being an elite player to basically nobody wants to, you become toxic. And it feels like he's hitting that point.
That's incredible. It's incredible to even wrap my mind around that from the perspective of his talent being so in its prime. Yeah, it's just so good. It's so good to think that that's the case. But I could see it because you're dealing with two things, one causing the other. You are completely unpredictable. I have no idea what you're going to do. None. I don't know, and nothing that I do. Can predict how you're going to react to it. And so you're just completely unpredictable. And therefore I can't trust you. Right. And so, like, when you can't be predicted and you can't be trusted, and I'm not saying like, I don't know, but once you've reached that point and people are like, no, completely unpredictable and we can't trust it. You could be out of the league real quick.